The Troll King, the Mandalorian, stood silently as the holographic image of a war-torn sector flickered before him. A hooded figure across the table outlined the mission. A gang of space pirates, known for their brutality, had taken control of a mining world in the Outer Rim. They called themselves the Trolls, the client said, voice muffled. 10-foot-tall beasts. But the leader, there are rumors he's even larger. A walking mountain. Mando said nothing, only tilted his helmet slightly in acknowledgement. Beside him, Grogu peeked over the table's edge, eyes wide with curiosity. The pay? Mando asked after a long pause. The client slid a chip across the table. Triple your usual rate. Alive, if possible. Dead. Acceptable. Without a word, Mando picked up the chip and turned toward the exit. Grogu waddled after him, clutching his satchel. Aboard the Razor Crest, the coordinates loaded onto the nav computer. The planet Drelva expertly registered on the galactic charts. Remote, isolated, lawless. As the ship broke into hyperspace, Grogu sat in his floating pod, watching stars streak by. Mando leaned back in the pilot's chair, silent as ever. They say the leader is 16 feet tall, Mando muttered. Let's hope that's just a legend. Just like Bigfoot, the ship emerged above a green and gray orb. Scans showed vast forested regions and signs of industrial ruins scattered across its surface. Mando landed near the remnants of a collapsed mining outpost. Trees had begun to reclaim the area, roots twisting through old metal and stone. As they disembarked, Grogu perked up, ears twitching. He sensed something not right. Mando moved with caution, scanning the area with his visor. Keep close, he said. Their first encounter came quickly. A rusted bulkhead fell with a crash, and from the shadows emerged two towering creatures, each over 10 feet tall. Space trolls, muscular, slow, but incredibly strong. Their skin was thick and mottled like asteroid rock. One charged. Mando fired his blaster, the bolts barely phasing the beast. Grogu, wide-eyed, raised a hand, and the second troll froze mid-step, suspended for a heartbeat before slamming into a wall. Mando rolled, drew a vibroblade, and sliced at the first troll's leg. It roared and stumbled. Together they brought it down. Grogu used the force to knock a rusted beam loose, pinning the creature beneath it. The second troll scrambled away into the trees, growling. They're smart, Mando noted. Smarter than they look. Following the escapee's path, they entered a dense jungle. Fog clung to the air like webs. The trees were enormous, with leaves like blades and roots that pulsed faintly with bioluminescence. Grogu's pod hovered beside Mando as they tracked the troll's footprints deeper into the jungle. A loud snapper trap. The ground gave way, and Mando dropped into a pit, catching himself with his grappling cable. Above, 3 more trolls loomed. Grogu hovered just out of their reach. With a flick of his wrist, Mando launched a smoke grenade. The pit filled with thick fog. A flurry of motion, shots fired. Roars echoed, then silence. Grogu reached down, eyes glowing faintly, and used the force to lift Mando free of the pit. The trolls had vanished again, but one left behind a crude totem markings etched into bone and stone. Looks like a trail marker, Mando said. They're leading us somewhere. After hours of trekking, they reached a high cliff. Below, in a valley choked with vines and ancient machinery, sat a dark cave. Grogu stared into the distance. You feel it too, Mando whispered. Whatever's in there. That's where they're going. They descended at dusk. Strange howls echoed through the valley as night settled over Drelva Ixi inside the cave. The walls were lined with crystals that pulsed with energy. The deeper they went, the more unnatural it felt. Then came the ambush. For trolls charged from hidden passages. Mando barely dodged a crushing blow. Grogu leapt from his pod and used the force to send it tumbling into the dark. Mando fired his flamethrower, blinding one long enough to plant an explosive charge on its chest. The blast echoed, and the remaining trolls fled. The tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber, lit by glowing fungus. In the center stood a throne of bones atop it. Not a troll, but a small green-skinned creature no taller than Grogu, a goblin. Welcome, it hissed, voice amplified by some device. To my kingdom. Mando raised his blaster. You're the one they follow. Of course, the goblin sneered. Trolls are muscle. I am the mind. Grogu stepped forward, staring curiously. Your little pet has potential, the goblin said, eyes glowing. He could be more than just your sidekick. He's not for sale. The goblin waved a claw. Hidden panels opened, more trolls lumbered in. You're outnumbered, it taunted. You can't win. Mando tossed a flash grenade, blinding the room in a burst of white light. He rolled forward, blaster blazing. Grogu leapt, deflecting a thrown object with the force. The goblin tried to flee, but Grogu caught him mid-air, suspending him inches above the floor. Put me down, it screeched. You're done, Mando growled, slapping binders on the tiny tyrant. The trolls stopped moving without commands. They seemed lost. Without him, Mando said, they don't know what to do. Grogu tugged the goblin's ear playfully. They exited the cave as the dawn broke over the valley. Back at the Razor Crest, Mando secured the goblin in a containment cell. He sent a transmission to the client. Target acquired. Not exactly what you expected. The client's reply was delayed. A goblin, you're joking. No joke, Mando replied, watching Grogu laugh quietly. But he was the real monster.